Let me ask you a question. What would you do if all the animals woke up? Would you regret? I not. I treat animals better than people. I even talk to them sometimes. But the question is not what I will do. If not, what will you do? You would be desperate to hide to the point of exposing your reptilian brain with your primitive survival instinct, or you would maintain your neocortex to be able to reason in such a situation, which is unlikely, but functional. Animosity, from 1 to 5, written by Margaret Bennett, drawn by Rafael de la Torre, and other people. Once this solution is done, I will say my opinion about this comic. This comic is not that I expected, but I am satisfied. This is because I thought it was going to be a comic about global change where they would focus on the problems of the human protagonist, as well as others that I do not intend to mention. I watched to you Walking Dead. The first words of the first bullet on the first page indicate a severe hypocrisy that affects our world. Personally, I have never seen anything wrong with hypocrisy. Indeed, I consider myself hypocritical and not ashamed of it. However, here they make you see it as something that severely affects the lives of many animals. And is right. This comic shows you animal violence from the first page, leaving you clear what kind of history this is. And I must admit that the type of violence shown in this comic, I like it, because it is a rational violence, not a violence without meaning. Here we can see animals with motives to commit their acts or reacting with conscience. For example, Rat's killing the fumigator because he sprays poison because it is his job, or a bear repenting for beating the torso of a sea lion. The story presents the protagonist, Jesse, and his dog Sandor, who will take care of her, protect her, and later raise her, thus being her father figure. One thing I liked about this comic is that animals are rational, not just scream and complain. They are aware that they cannot be all vegetarians, that they have to control their birth, that having no vaccines can make them sick, that having hands instead of nails they need humans to be able to cook, etc. This is a war comic in which you can see the war and the consequence of the war between humans and animals. Characters who die few pages later, animals killing each other, Sandor concerned for Jesse's education, knowing that he will only live 2 years more for being a dog, dogs with bruises on the face, but mostly survive. Regarding my opinion, this comic is well written. However, there were pages in which I doubt I could skip them, not because it is boring, but because I thought some would be more interesting than others. The execution is good, but although it is interesting, I cannot catch myself in the plot. But if I cause enough interest to continue reading the series. As for the drawing, Rafael de la Torre knows how to draw animals. However, it does not stand out much in the environment. But it does not matter if there are no splash pages that need it. As for Rob Schwager, as a colorist, I like his color palette and the texture he gives to animals. For example, the whale skin. But one thing that I loved were the covers variants, which their information is scarce. That is, they did not appear in comic buying, but those that appeared in the files that I downloaded are very good. And here no more. I do not want to do much spoiler, although there is not much to spoil, so before I finish it with the podcast, I wanted to tell you that this comic reminded me of God is Dead, because it touched the main theme at the beginning of the comic, but them use different but related plots to make the story advance. The end.